spirits of the night. All rise! Lead now! The transit is complete!
King Adisa was old. For many years he had ruled the kingdom of Ijora, a rich African kingdom surrounded by thick forests, red earth roads and golden fields. He had 3 wives, but after the death of his 3rd wife, he shocked the entire kingdom by marrying again. His new wife was named Amina. She was young, beautiful and quiet. She was only 22 years old, with dark smooth skin, soft delicate features, large expressive eyes and long black African braids decorated with tiny gold beads. She always wore elegant royal wrappers in deep green and gold. The people of the kingdom admired her beauty, but they feared her silence. From the very first night she entered the palace, strange things began to happen. Servants whispered that they heard footsteps in the palace long after midnight. Goats and chickens disappeared from the royal farm. The king's hunting dogs howled every night whenever the moon was full. And every morning, Queen Amina was found asleep in her room, with mud on her feet. At first, nobody dared speak. But soon the rumors spread through every corner of the palace. The new queen is cursed. She walks with spirits. She hides something. Only one person did not believe the rumors. Prince Jabari, the king's eldest son. Jabari was 28, tall and strong, with dark skin, short black hair and sharp eyes. Though Amina was only a few years younger than him, he treated her with kindness and respect. One evening, he found her standing alone on the palace balcony, staring at the forest beyond the kingdom walls. "You seem unhappy," he said quietly. Amina quickly looked away. "I am fine." "You are lying." For a moment she said nothing. Then she whispered, "Some secrets are too dangerous to tell." Before Jabari could answer, she turned and disappeared into her room. That night, Jabari could not sleep. The moon was full and bright above the palace. As he walked through the dark corridor, he saw something move. Amina. She was leaving her room. She wore a dark green wrapper and walked barefoot through the palace halls. Her long braids hung over her shoulders as she moved silently towards the back gate. Jabari followed. Outside the palace, Amina crossed the fields and entered the forest. The deeper she walked, the stranger the night became. The air grew cold. The trees twisted like shadows. Strange whispers floated through the darkness. At last, she reached a clearing. Jabari stopped behind a tree and watched in horror. In the middle of the clearing stood 7 women dressed in black. Their faces were hidden beneath long veils. Amina stepped into the center of their circle. Then one of the women raised her hands and began to chant. The wind roared. The ground shook. And suddenly Amina screamed. Her body began to change. Her eyes turned gold. Her fingers became claws. Dark fur spread across her skin. Within moments, the beautiful young queen had become a giant black leopard. Jabari almost cried out. The leopard looked around the clearing with burning golden eyes. Then it ran into the forest. The women in black vanished. Jabari stood frozen. The next morning, Amina sat beside the king at breakfast as though nothing had happened. She looked beautiful and calm. But Jabari noticed scratches on her arms. He noticed blood beneath her fingernails. And when their eyes met, he knew she knew he had followed her. That night she came to his room. "You should not have seen that," she said softly. Jabari stepped backwards. "What are you?" Tears filled her eyes. "When I was a child, my mother took me into the forbidden forest. There we met the 7 sisters of the night. They promised my family wealth and power." Her voice trembled. "But in return, every daughter of our bloodline must become a beast on the night of the full moon." Jabari stared at her in silence. "I have tried to fight it all my life," she whispered. "I married your father because the 7 sisters said a queen would be strong enough to control the curse. Can you?" Amina slowly shook her head. No. Before he could speak again, a loud scream echoed through the palace. A servant came running into the room. The king, he shouted. The king is gone. The entire palace burst into panic. The king's bed was empty. His window was open. And on the floor were giant leopard footprints. The people of the kingdom were terrified. By sunrise, the rumor had spread everywhere. The young queen killed the king. The palace guards wanted to arrest Amina at once. But Jabari stopped them. She did not do it willingly, he said. Then he looked at Amina. Tell me where they took him. She closed her eyes. The forest. Before sunset, Jabari and Amina rode into the forest together. For the first time in her life, Amina was not running from her secret. She was hunting it. They rode deep into the darkness until they reached the same clearing. But now it had changed. An ancient stone temple stood there, hidden between the trees. Torches burned around it. The 7 sisters waited outside. The curse cannot be broken, one of them hissed. You belong to us. No, Amina said. Her voice was stronger now. Inside the temple, King Adisa lay tied to a stone altar. Above him hung a black crystal glowing with dark light. The king's blood will make the curse eternal, said the eldest sister. Amina looked at Jabari. Then, without fear, she stepped forward into the circle. The sisters began to chant again. The wind screamed through the trees. Amina fell to the ground as the curse returned. Her eyes turned gold. Her body began to change. But this time, she did not run. She turned towards the black crystal. With a terrible cry, the giant black leopard leapt into the air and smashed the crystal with its claws. The temple shook violently. The sisters screamed. Dark smoke filled the air. One by one, the 7 sisters vanished into the darkness. The curse was broken. Amina collapsed onto the ground. When she opened her eyes, she was human again. The golden glow was gone. The king was safe. And for the first time since she was a child, Amina was free. Months later, the kingdom celebrated a great festival. The people no longer feared the young queen. Now they called her brave. And whenever the full moon rose above the palace, Amina no longer hid in her room. She stood beneath the moonlight with her face lifted to the sky, finally unafraid.